love that you mentioned social media because it was going to be a topic that I wanted to talk to you about. Like, how was your own relationship with social media?
Oh, I hate social media. Absolutely hate it. I think social media is awful. But the thing is, that's also one of my sacrifices. I don't like doing social media, but I feel like for what I want to do and want to achieve, I have to do it. Like, that's why when I'm on social media, I do it for a purpose. You know, I feel like that's the best way for me to balance social media. I don't really like going on social media and just endlessly scrolling, because eventually you'll just realize how much time you've wasted and just how much nonsense. Sometimes, of course, you can come across very informative things, but I feel like social media pushes certain topics, certain conversations that can, once again, influence you a lot. I feel like apps like TikTok, for example, wow, that is such a powerful app and people don't even realize how powerful that app is.
I actually heard the craziest thing about TikTok, right? So it's a Chinese brand, right? And if you were to compare the Chinese algorithm to American or to the Western world's algorithm, it's completely crazy and different, right? So like you'll have kids in China on TikTok, but because of how the algorithm is set over there, they're not fed this nonsense that we see on this side.
Yeah, that's
very
true.
When a kid is on TikTok in China, it's like they're learning something, like science things, and it's like the algorithm in China is actually used to promote things that are great for you, that are actually like good for your conscience, good for your mind, good for you to learn.
Yeah.
But then you look at TikTok on this side, it's a whole different conversation.
Yeah,
right?
True.
It's a whole different political conversation because we know the relationship between America and China hasn't always been the greatest.
Yeah.
So then from that standpoint, I kind of see why, let's say, China would want to push this algorithm or like kind of influence.
That's such a deep. That goes so deep. That goes
it's
so
like,
deep.
I don't even want to get cancelled by saying this. Or
that really does get deep, bro.
But
like, I know exactly what you're saying, and I feel I'm not even gonna say that. Actually,
I feel like you're holding back.
I'm holding back. Yeah, I'm holding back for my future self. I'm holding back. For my future self, like, I'm holding back. But I mean, let me just try and say it in a way that's not like incriminating or something. Like, let's say what China is doing is very smart. I feel like China knows exactly what they are doing. And I feel that the quickest way to influence someone's mind is through repetition, because the more something is repeated, the more it excites the unconscious mind. And if the unconscious mind accepts something, then you have that, and that becomes a part of your personality and reality. So apps like TikTok, where it's like a constant scrolling of repeated videos, which oftentimes because I don't even have TikTok, so I don't really know that much. But like the repetition of constant scrolling and consuming, I'm gonna say garbage, because that's what's being pushed by the Chinese onto this side of the society. That you are what you eat. So if that's what you're gonna consume, that's what you're gonna become, and that's what your reality will be. So
it's a hard conversation, you know.
But China is very smart with what they're doing. They're trying to make the opposition weaker. I see.
To say
yeah, I mean, if you just think about it logically, that is what they're doing. But I'm not gonna go further.
Yes, China, we love you. Thank you very much.
Still want to visit one day as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. But then it's like a lot of, let's say, successful people said exactly what you're saying here. Where it's like, okay, to use social media in the personal sense, for them it just doesn't make sense, right? So like, it's just like you open up, let's say, I'm in the generation where we grew up on Facebook, right? I still have my Facebook account, but everything and everyone who I'm friends with on Facebook is not relevant to my life right now. So then why would I still feel a type of way? Let's say I post a video on Facebook, let's say it doesn't get that many likes. And now I'm feeling like, damn, maybe like as you start kind of like feeling less of yourself because you think, oh, I put so much energy, and whatever into this video,
Definitely.
but it's not coming back in, let's say,
The way you had hoped.
you know, exactly.
It's actually, that goes back to what you said about how happiness is defined by the expectation of.
Yeah. Oh, it's when your expectation exceeds reality.
Exactly. And your expectation did not exceed the reality in that instance, right? So that made you not feel happy in that instance. And I feel that in this high dopamine society we live in this very high, fast dopamine society we live in, that we get so many instant gratifications.
It's so easy to everywhere. Just go back.
You know, and those instant gratifications have made us just be turning into fiends for dopamine in a way.
Dopamine
junkies. Really. It's really like that though. And
so true.
Because of that, that's why we also feel like that. It's the conditioning of all these applications. It's the conditioning of continuously living in this high dopamine society and not being able to take a step back and say, let me detox, because that is so important, you know. Because once you detox, you'll be able to appreciate. You won't even care about those likes, whatever. Because in reality, what does that actually matter?
Yeah,
you know, like okay, you can get 1,000 few likes, but like for me personally, hey, if you ain't getting money out of that, what is you really doing?
Yeah,
to be fair, like if you ain't making money off of that, if you ain't doing something that has a positive intention for the world or for yourself or for your people around you, what are you really doing it for? You know,
it's an ego, just feeding the ego.
Well, like I said, it's certain applications, you know, are turning us all into narcissists.
Yeah,
If you really look at how things are going,
But I saw this, like, someone shared this story where it's like, okay, imagine you post a photo, right? You get 100 likes.
Yeah.
If we were to have 100 people stood outside our door, like, hey, I like that photo that you posted, we would not. That shit would scare us. Like 100 people's attention on us at one time.
Yeah.
And then it's like sometimes for people that 100 likes isn't enough or doesn't reach their expectations, and then you start feeling sad about it. But then once you kind of like compare it to reality, it's like Dave Chappelle said the best thing ever. It was like he had this comedy special. People tried to cancel him. All of Twitter went crazy. And he said the simplest thing. It's like an interviewer asked him something. It's like, oh, how do you feel about what people are saying about you on Twitter? A bunch of famous people said, yeah, this, that, the other. Dave Chappelle's canceled. It's like, bro, like Twitter is not a real place. Like, why should I spend my time and energy into this thing, care about people's opinions, where it's like, this is not, it's not a real place. Like, what are we doing? Like, why are we
Shout out Dave Chappelle, though. Shout out Dave Chappelle.
It's
my guy.
It's crazy how we've put so many things on a pedestal from like such a young age, or just like programming and conditioning, where it's like, it's kind of hard to really know, like, okay, but what is actually important to me?
It's true. I mean, like, think about it like this. If you go outside, for example, and I've been noticing this a lot. I see a lot of kids who have a electronic device before they even have toys in their hands. Like that is crazy. Like that is really crazy. And then from such a young age, they're already being conditioned into that electronical reality. You know, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all of this. They're already being preconditioned from such a young age, programmed from such a young age, and it's crazy. Yeah, it's just crazy.
I don't even know what. How do we realize for ourselves that it is garbage? Right? Because like I could tell everyone in this room, go delete your social media pages, or at least maybe stop following people who don't actually like bring value. But like, would it help? Like,
I mean, like in the end of the day, it's your life. I feel like if you want to go, you get gratification from Instagram likes and followers or whatever. Hey, you do you. But just imagine if you got that account removed. Now, how are you really feeling? You see.
Yeah.
Now all that gratification is gone. You're
Yeah.
left with nothing, and then you're just left with the internal struggle once again you have with yourself because you didn't really realize and understand that the external, the likes, validation, it's not real. It's
Yeah.
not what's gonna make you feel fulfilled in the end. That's what I'm saying. If you take any of these people's accounts away, what are they really left